This gym is great! It's full of women! Well, but unlike in Celadon, they are much better concealed. Juan keeps them all in the basement. I wonder if they actually mind. Probably not too much. Because when you talk to them, they all seem to be proud to be studying under Juan and being part of the Pseudopolis gym. So, being stuck in an icy cellar for the rest of your life, well, gives you sex with Juan, so why not? Think about it, Juan's gotta be a god in the sack if he can manage to get 10 women, not one, not two, 10 women to spend all their days in an icy basement of cold and whatever the fuck you want to say about it. Hats off to you, Juan, you wonderful, wonderful ladies man, you. And now it's time for a public service announcement for those of you who don't check out Pokemon news sites. For those of you who own Hard Gold and Soul Silver, starting on Saturday, there will be a Wi-Fi event that will give you the Enigma Stone, which will unlock the Soul Dew, among others, as well as, I believe it's Latios in Hard Gold and Latias in Soul Silver. Is that right? Well, whichever one isn't in your corresponding version will be unlocked by that event. Oh! Pokefan Bethany's Azurill. I remember that Pokemon because I was fighting this exact Azurill when I found out that it wasn't water type, just normal. I tried using Thunderbolt on it, and much to my surprise, it wasn't super effective. So I said, what the heck, is it water and something else, and it evolves into Mono Water? But no! Azurill is normal type! It's like they didn't have enough time to put in a type, so they just said, oh, we're gonna go to normal by default. That and the fact that there's a third of all male Azurills that turn female upon evolving, well, that probably makes Azurill the most poorly designed Pokemon ever. And I don't mean poorly designed in the same way as, for example, Voltorb or Ghastly, Haunter, Pokemon like that. I mean, in terms of the game code, they didn't even have enough time to punch in the water type for Azurill, and they didn't even bother checking the gender frequency of Marill and Azumarill and have Azurill match. What were they thinking when they did this? I don't know, maybe it was Friday afternoon syndrome, or maybe Azurill was one of the last Pokemon that they put in the game. Like, hey, come on, we don't have any Pokemon that are related to old Pokemon. We need a few. And so they spun like that giant wheel of sorts, and they decided, oh, we gotta make a baby Wobbuffet, a baby Wobbuffet. Just spin the wheel again, and then we'll be done with it. And oh, we gotta make a baby Marill now. All right, let's go. Baby Wobbuffet, baby Marill, and then we're done with this game. Okay, now I'm just making stuff up, but it wouldn't be surprising at all if something like that happened, minus the giant wheel and stuff. But this allows me to tell you about a little tidbit about Ruby and Sapphire that not many people seem to know. Because, you see, before Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, it was unknown how to get the old numbers on the Pokédex in Ruby and Sapphire, which sort of surprises me because can't they just hack into the game and find out that there's a hidden National Dex? I mean, the day Diamond and Pearl came out, someone hacked into the game and found out all the National Dex numbers, all the typings, and all the base stats of all the Pokemon. We didn't have the names and sprites to go along with them yet, but for a while we had a table. It had the numbers, the base stats, and the typings, and that's how we found out that there were two new evolutions, which turned out to be Leafeon and Glaceon, because rows 470 and 471 had the same general stat spread as the other evolutions, like was 60, 65, 65, 95, 110, and 130, I believe. Maybe wrong, but that's probably what this is. But okay, sorry, now I'm rambling on about something that doesn't have anything to do with my initial point. What I was saying is that I don't know how they came up with this list, but they came up with sort of a Pokédex order for, you know, all the Pokemon, including the 184 that weren't in the Hoenn Dex. And as I said, don't ask me how they came up with this order, because as it turned out, new Pokemon are sorted in the National Dex in the same order that they are in the Hoenn Dex. You're going to notice that if you pay a little bit of attention. But okay, the difference between that list and the National Pokédex we know today is that I don't know if the cutoff point was Swellow or Pelipper. I think it was Pelipper, but afterwards the order was completely different. I know that the Gardevoir line was like in the 350s, whereas in the National Dex it's 280, 81, 82. And yeah, I don't know how they ended up with that, but you had at the end the likes of the Salamence, Metagross, the pseudo-legendaries, the legendaries at the end. But after Deoxys, there was one Pokemon left, and that was... hold your horses, you're not gonna believe this. The last Pokemon in that presumed National Dex was Chimecho. Chimecho was thought to be the last Pokemon in the National Dex at the time. And as it turns out, then Fire Red and Leaf Green came out and you could trade with Ruby and Sapphire, which instantly unlocked the National Pokédex in Ruby and Sapphire. And then we found out that this order was wrong, thankfully, because Chimecho dead last? What the hell? Chimecho was at 358. And you also got, as I said, the routes line that was much earlier. It was all jumbled after Pelipper. So that's just a little random fact about Ruby and Sapphire. And I believe I can still find some documents on GameFAQs that have that order in them. So before I upload this video, I'm going to check GameFAQs out, see if I can find that list. And if I do, I'm going to put a link in the movie description as usual, so you can compare with how the actual National Dex turned out. And speaking of Dex number nonsense, we got confirmation of the new legendary that Water Pokemon Master reported in his evil pictures, which is called Victini, and it's number 0 in the Isshu Dex, which got a lot of people talking. Is it going to be actually 494 in the National Dex? Personally, I don't think so. I think it only has to do with the fact that they don't want to repeat what they did in Platinum by having Manaphy be like 151 out of 210. It wasn't at the extremity of the Pokédex, so... I came to this gym because Juan praised me for my darling Pokémon. Juan praised this woman for a pair of FEEBASSES, and now give me a second because I'm going to send my Regice in the lead since Gardevoir is almost out of Thunderbolt. But seriously, he praised her for a pair of FEEBASSES. If this doesn't prove that he's in it for the sex, then nothing does. I mean, praising someone for FEEBASS, the only reason why anyone would ever do that is if you wanted to get someone in the sack. And, well, it seemed to work, didn't it? So, yeah, back to Victini. It's going to be distributed via Wi-Fi at launch. So once again, it got some speculation going as if it's going to be complete crap since it's being distributed at launch. Well, nobody knows. We're just going to have to wait and see, I guess.